Hey, Corwin, what sound does a Pink Panther make when he's squishing bugs?
I don't know.
Dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant.
That was terrible.
You're listening to Merc with a Podcast, episode 105.
I am your Monster Army host, Corwin, and with me as always is my sorority pledge at Columbia host, Scott.
Dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant, dead ant.
The Merc with a Podcast is a monthly slave view of all things Deadpool, which is published by Marvel Comics. You can file your Merc report to us on Facebook under Merc with a Podcast, Merc WA Podcast on Twitter, or email us at hipsterdaken, which is D-A-K-E-N, at gmail.com, and Patch will send us your Hellhouse Fax. You can call us at our voicemail number at 843-NEFARIA, N-E-F-A-R-I-A, and we'll never play it because... Yes.
So, I read some actual comics recently.
All that free time you have?
Yep. I read Deceased.
I know they're making like a sequel series to it. I have it, but I haven't quite read it.
Yeah, I didn't read the... There's a new miniseries that just came out, and I'm not entirely sure if it's done because of COVID, but I read the whole miniseries and then the one-shot.
How'd you enjoy it?
Oh, no, I really liked it.
Taylor's great.
The only problem is it took me 5 minutes to read an issue.
That fast?
Yeah, it's that fast. Kind of says what state of comic books are when you can like fucking browse through them that quickly.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I also read a manga as well.
Right.
Saki the Succubus Hungers Tonight, Volume 1.
That sounds pretty what's the rating on that one?
I would not give it to your kids. It's about sucks that needs life essence, and the life essence is cum.
Okay.
But it's really good.
Okay, I will take your word for it.
Let's see. What is I have only done 2 chapters of Final Fantasy VII.
You know what? I just finished the reactor and I'm in the sewers, but I just haven't had time to play lately with everybody. You know, kids being home, and we usually eat dinner and watch a movie, and then after that it's usually conk out. So I haven't really been playing much video games. Even Destiny I've kind of slowed down on.
Yeah, and the last I left off in Ultimate Alliance 3, I got to the Novacore planet, whatever that's.
Okay, I guess it's from the movies.
No, they actually look like the legit Novacores.
Okay, I don't think they ever had a planet, but I could be wrong.
Well, they're fighting on a planet, and there's a shitload of Novacores.
Gotcha,
Let's put it that way.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I last left off in Ultimate Alliance 3. And talking about video game segue, let's get into the news.
Let's do it.
All right, time for the news nobody pays attention to. Corwin, we have 4 credible items to regurgitate. A baker's dozen. Item number 1. X-Force skins now available in Fortnite, including Cable, Psylocke, and Domino. Also, Deadpool Scooter is available in Fortnite.
Fortnite's doing big things lately, huh?
Yep.
What's that one they just had that big old concert?
Yeah.
Or was that?
I think that was
Okay.
That was Fortnite as well. Wasn't it? Fuck. I know if you say the name, I'm gonna be like, yeah, Travis Scott,
Yes.
wasn't it?
I was gonna look for it, but yes, that's it.
Yeah. Item number 2. Marvel Studios has released their movie lineup to 2023, bunking the rumors that we'll be seeing Deadpool 3 in 2023.
Okay.
So what are you thinking? 2024, 2025?
I guess, but I guess it really depends on how they plan on rolling it out. I mean, they're not. I don't. Do you think they're going to put Deadpool in the cinematic universe?
Well, I think just in general, everything got pushed a year.
True.
Let's put it that way. First off, so even if the rumors were true, it's still not coming out till 2024.
Well, here's my question: do you think it's going to be set in the cinematic universe, or do you think that Disney's going to launch, I don't know, some kind of other studio for their other comics movies?
I don't think they're going to do that. I think this is going to be set in the universe. It won't be important, if that makes sense. Like, here's the best example. Did you see Harley Quinn? Which I know is one of her questions.
Yes.
But
yes.
Did you see it? Like, Harley Quinn was rated R, but I feel like none of it's going to matter. Yeah, come Suicide Squad.
They could have toned that down a little bit. Just take out some of the F-bombs. I don't know about the... Was there a lot of blood? I'm trying to remember.
I think.
I don't remember if there was blood. But yeah, they could have toned that down to be PG or a little bit higher. I don't think they could have gotten away without being rated R.
Yeah, but I think... Let's face it, I don't think, come... I don't know, Suicide Squad, I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh man, Gotham is now like in ruins because the crime boss Black Mask isn't around anymore. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I think Deadpool, like, shit'll happen, but it won't affect the Marvel Universe. Sure. But I think we'll still see Deadpool pop up in other films. He'll just be toned down.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Like, he just won't drop F-bombs, like if he's in the X-Men movie, for instance.
Okay.
Or if
but
he's
they
in
will still make his own movies be rated R. I'll be cool with that.
Well, yeah, they are. Bob Iger already came out and said it's going to stay R. The writers came out and said, yeah, we're not changing anything.
That's good.
Why fix something that's not broken?
Exactly.
All right. Item number 3. San Diego Con 2020 canceled. WonderCon canceled after being postponed. Anime Expo, Fanime Expo, and Otakon have all been canceled due to COVID-19.
Damn you, COVID.
And item number 4. Taskmaster rumored to reference Deadpool in Black Widow. He copies the katana scene where he chops down all the bullets. Black Widow is set for a November 2020
that would
release.
Be a nice little Easter egg. It's not overt.
Yeah, I heard that, and the other rumor, this is like, the stupid rumors you just read online, and the other one was like, he's going to kind of do like a Wolverine type move.
What is a Wolverine type move? He's going to have some claws?
Yeah, he's going to have some claws and like, I don't know, jump down and like slice people.
That'll be interesting.
Yep. All right. That's it for the news. We have no sales figures because comics just kind of stopped publishing mid-March. So we have no idea.
Yeah.
You want to get into our Hellhouse Fax?
Let's do it.
Hey guys, Andrew here. He has 5 questions. First one, can you please put a timestamp for when you do retro ads? Sometimes I like going to that section, and it's hard to find the exact start point.
Yeah, I could probably do
that. Second question, what are your personal ranks for comic book movies of 2019?
So hold on, wait a minute. Is he actually saying he likes the retro ads? I didn't realize people actually dug that stuff.
Yeah, I guess he does.
Okay, cool. Comic book movies of 2019. Oof.
So we had
Let me write this
Endgame,
down.
Dark Phoenix, Captain Marvel.
That was only last year?
Yeah.
Far From Home, okay.
Spider-Man. I don't think... Oh, Shazam. I think that's it. I mean, did you see Hellboy? Okay, let's throw Hellboy in there. All right. Here, let me do my. Okay. What do you want to put at the bottom? Because I think we're both probably going to have maybe the same exact one at the
Dark
bottom.
Phoenix.
Yeah. Then Hellboy.
Yep. And you know what? Hellboy
uh,
wasn't a bad movie. They just played it way too safe. It was just kind of by color by numbers is I guess the best way to kind of explain it.
you know what that Hellboy movie remind me of? Which I don't think you actually saw it. Did you ever see the second animated movie?
Yes, but I don't remember it. I've seen them both. I have them
I
somewhere.
I I think the second animated. I think it's almost close to the second animated movie, which probably is a storyline from the Hellboy or BPRD comics.
I mean, it was solid. It was just kind of color by numbers, average, check
Like,
this box as it goes through. It was predictable in a lot of ways, and
and then like everyone complained about Mila Jovovich's like performance, and I'm just like, it's not that she was bland. It was just I don't think she was given anything to
I
do.
can agree with that.
She was, yeah, she was just there, and like, and that's the other thing. I think like when you don't have Liz, when you don't have Abe, there was nobody there worth it. I'm just like, oh, there's that Jaguar guy who I don't recall ever seeing in the comics. I know he is a character, but I don't ever recall reading about
Yep.
him. That's about, yeah, it, oh, it was
No,
not good.
I mean, but it
All
wasn't.
right,
It
what do you
wasn't
have
terrible though.
next?
That's the thing. It wasn't like ooh, it was just awful, but it just wasn't. It just bland. I guess is the best way to explain it. Next, where are we at? Four. I actually put Shazam.
Same.
Okay.
Again, it's not that Shazam was bad. I, I mean, it was definitely better than Hellboy. Let's put it
Yes,
that way.
definitely. Definitely lean more towards the kids too. On
But
top of that, I think more of a family movie, which is nothing wrong with that at all.
yeah, I think for me, Shazam is he's that character. Like I like him when he's there with other characters, but he's not a solo character. Does
Yep.
that make sense? All right, let me guess. We're probably going to say the same exact one again.
But of
Captain
course, I
Marvel.
mean, look,
Okay, let's just go through this real quick. Then Endgame's on top, and
you're
then comes
correct.
Spidey,
So
right?
we got the same list.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So let's go back to Captain Marvel. I mean, going back now, like having time to like actually digest it. Oh yeah, I'm happy we're getting new writers for the next movie.
Yeah, but okay, here's my question. Do you think it suffered from being an origin story? Okay,
Yes.
I can agree. I think they had to explain her character and everything in this one movie, and I think next time they can have more freedom to do whatever it is that they want and expand it because the origin story sometimes it it can take away from the movie because they have to do certain explanations and get things going, which is what made the Avengers so great. Is like once they did the individual movies for each character, every movie after that, even if it is an individual movie, they don't have to go back to the well. They can just plow forward with the story.
I think the other thing that made the movie suffer is it's like so you get this whole big like sci-fi element in space, and I just did not care about it. And then you come to Earth, and it's like, hey, remember how this was such like a sci-fi movie, and now it was just so jarring that it's like, oh, now it's a spy movie,
Eh,
and you're like, what's going on? We're going from that to this, and then oh, now it's a civil war between two groups, and
I like the I
yeah,
like the
no,
I like the
that's
twist
why.
with the scrolls. That was a nice twist, but yeah, I think the Nick Fury thing with his eye, I didn't like that either. I think they could have done a better story arc with that one.
Yeah, I'm just happy that at least like when I read, hey, it's gonna have a different writing team. It was like, oh, okay, cool. That means we might have a good
Right.
story, or not a good story, a better
Agreed.
story. Uh, so Far From Home.
I don't even know what to put on that one, but I mean, we knew Mysterio was going to be the villain. There was no kind of doubt about that. So yeah, I mean, it was solid. I don't really have anything to say.
Remember when you were like, I'm not gonna see it.
I don't even remember. Did I see it in theaters? I think I took the kids. I think the kids wanted to see it.
Yeah, you were making such a big deal. You're like, all that matters to me is Endgame and Dark
Well, Dark
Phoenix.
Phoenix out of curiosity, yes.
And then you didn't even see it
No,
in
I
the
didn't.
theaters.
I didn't.
Oh god. And then Endgame.
Which, yes, I realized was looking back was 3 hours. Oof. But yeah, loved it.
Face it, you watch the portal scene all the time on YouTube, don't you?
No, no. I think
I do. That is such
it
an
is an awesome
awesome
scene,
scene.
but the one I always go back to is always Hawkeye and Black Widow fighting over, who goes. I've probably played
Right.
that scene back a lot more times than the others.
I still like the thing with what's his face? Red Skull. It's just like, and he's standing there like, yo, can you guys move this up? Like, I have a meeting at 4. He's just awkwardly standing all
Yeah,
the time.
he ain't got nowhere to go, nowhere to be.
All right. Uh, what third question? What was the last movie you saw in theaters before the pandemic?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um,
Onward.
oh no.
That's the last. No, I'm saying for me, that was the last one I saw. Like Onward came out that weekend, and I saw it on a Tuesday.
I think it's going to be the My Hero Academia, Two Heroes.
That was like what,
I
February?
think so. Um, actually, I can pull it up. Yep, February 28th. And before that was the Rise of Skywalker. And before that,
Man, you
and
do.
before that was Zombieland Double Tap.
uh, yeah, last for me was Onward, and I remember I was like, oh, and I bought tickets the next week to see The Hunt.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, you watch it on Amazon, I'm assuming.
Was it Amazon?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I bought tickets to see The Hunt, and then they're like, oh, hey, we're only because of this COVID thing might be a problem. We're gonna do like half capacity, and then all of a sudden everything just got shut down and the movie got
Yeah.
canceled. I mean, the movie theater just shut down. So it's like, yeah, guess I had to, never see this, and then it came out on Amazon. Did you rent Trolls for the
No, I
kids?
didn't. But I think eventually, just because, trying to keep them occupied, I may end up getting it.
Scooby Doo comes out next week.
Yeah, once again, I have to see how the kids go with it.
I don't know the new Scooby Doo. Like, I have no interest in Scooby Doo, but the new movie actually looks kind of good because they're going into like the deep Hanna
But it's
Barbera
how
lore.
Shaggy met Scooby, right?
No, that's like the beginning of the
Okay.
film. Then they're back to being
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
teenagers.
I hardly know anything about it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. You can just watch a trailer and then you can fast forward 20 minutes into the film or something. All right. What question 4? What did you think of Birds of Prey?
I thought it was cool. It was not as bad as people made it sound, but I think it was also kind of another safe, simple story. Maybe I'm just getting old, but I just thought it was safe and simple.
I hated it.
You hated it?
Oh my god! To me, that was the second worst DCEU
Wow,
movie.
saying a lot.
I And then when people were saying like, "Oh my god, this is like," I got the opposite. All the people I was like talking to and reading were like raving about it. I'm like, "What are you talking about? That movie was horrible."
Yeah, most.
I don't know. Like I felt like like where Deadpool just kept on throwing jokes at you, and it seemed like 3 out of 4 times the joke stuck. I felt like this movie was like throwing jokes and jokes and jokes at you, and only now 4 times like the joke stuck.
I could see that, yeah.
And then just a personal pet peeve, which I've talked about on the podcast. I hate movies that do the
Flashback
we're gonna
forward.
start 20 minutes and then it's like, let's go back, and then they did that 5 more times. And then it's the other thing. It was just like they went, oh, nobody's going to see a Birds of Prey movie.
So they changed the name.
They quit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were going to do a Harley Quinn movie and they were going to do a Birds of Prey movie. So they decided to just make one movie with both.
Yeah.
And then Huntress, one of my favorite characters, I hated what they did to her in that
It took
film.
me a second to recognize who she was, too.
Yeah, Ramona Flowers.
Whoa, she totally looks different. Slimmed down a lot.
Grew up.
I guess so. How was she in Scott Pilgrim?
But she looks taller, I mean.
Well, maybe.
Oh, and what was it? Oh, and let's talk about Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, that was just terrible.
Why? Why did we use that character? You could have just made up any other character.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. That is my second hated DCEU movie.
Saying all that.
First is Man of Steel.
No, Man of Steel was good. Come on now.
Oh, Man of Steel is so boring.
Man of Steel is worse than Batman versus Superman.
Batman vs. Superman is not a bad movie once you watch the R-rated version.
And you're telling me it's not worse than Justice League?
Oh, I think I have Justice League as like number 3 now. Justice League actually had cool characters and a plot, and I wasn't bored out of my mind. Meanwhile, you have Man of Steel, and it's like, I live in Kansas! And like, nobody would care. There was a tornado going on. Clark could have saved the dog and his dad, and nobody would have noticed.
Oh, it has its faults, definitely, but I don't think it's a terrible movie like people make it sound.
Oh, and then, here's this guy just randomly off the street, doesn't even go to college. We're gonna hire him as a newspaper reporter. You look an awful lot like Superman. And then Pete is like, duh, he opened up the boss, but it's not him. God, that movie is so fucking dumb. What was the anime of 2019? Question 5.
Shit. Did we have? Well, I'm gonna say at this point, maybe My Hero's probably outranking Attack on Titan. How would you feel about that one?
You know that the My Hero train has pretty much died down.
So?
Oh God, yeah. The My Hero Academia. I told you. Remember, like the one year I went to NicoCon, I was like, yeah, it's everywhere you went, you just saw My Hero Academia characters, and then the next year, nothing. Because the hype died down. Now, probably the best anime 2019, I would probably go with Domestic Girlfriend. That was so good.
I'd have to go and look because once again, I kindly don't even watch things in like when they come out. Like right now, I think I was bored and I put on Overlord, which I was surprised at how interesting that one was. So I'd have to go back and look and see which one actually came out last year.
All right. You want to go into our middle segment, or do you want to go into the books?
I think most people are here for the books, and then we can get back to some Evangelion.
All right. So, our ranking is always: a buy is a party time fruit liquor, a browse is a 0.1, a gentleman's decoy is a low 0.1, and as always, a decoy is a burn. We have Bull Issue 4, written by Kelly Thompson, pencils by Chris Bachalo, and colors by David Curiel. And then we also have a second, like a backup strip, Jeff and Wade, written by Kelly Thompson, artist by Irene Straskowski, and colors by Rochelle Rosenberg. So this issue is going to be really fast. Deadpool fights Kraven, then Deadpool's army shows up. They fight Kraven. Then the Tim Burton tentacles come, eats up Kraven. Then Deadpool resigns as king. Elsa Boone says, maybe you should show people that, you truly are a leader. Then the Tim Burton tentacles throws up, what's his face, Kraven in Alaska. Meanwhile, Steve Rogers is watching TV and he sees an ad for Deadpool's Monster Kingdom, in which Steve Trevor approves, and that's how the issue ends. Then we have a Steve Rogers. Then we have a backup strip, which is Deadpool is walking Jeff.
Deadpool is being walked by Jeff. Deadpool has the leash. Deadpool's on the collar, and Jeff has the leash.
And they end up in front of a clothing store. Deadpool says, "Okay, just this once," and Deadpool puts on the Gwenpool outfit, and Jeff gets all excited because he missed Gwenpool. The end.
That was cute.
This is a gentleman's decoy. This was, if it wasn't for the Jeff and Wade thing, I would give this a decoy. This was so bad.
Here's the thing. One thing you did skip on is that Deadpool wanted to resign because some monsters died on his watch, especially what's his name?
Chocobo.
What's his name? Bear.
Doesn't matter. Chocobo.
Right, yes, one of the monsters died on his watch, so he's kind of just saying everywhere he goes, death follows. So Elsa kind of talks him back into it by saying, well, everybody thinks you're gonna fuck this up, so why don't you prove them wrong? Don't you think that would actually, piss them off? And then he kind of reconsiders and then decides to go back to being king. I hear you now. This isn't great. I would say that they drug this out to be 4 issues, and that's way too long. They could have done this in 2 issues, and it would have been really tight and really solid. This issue, I agree, it's not great. It's okay. I'm actually going to give it a 0.1. But if they could have condensed this story arc from 4 issues to 2, I think it would have been a lot better.
Here's the problem, and this could be both Kelly and Chris's fault, but a lot of it seems like it's Chris's fault. It was not the art was not suitable for the action that we saw.
It doesn't seem like Chris's heart is in it, and as I said last episode, his head seemed to be disproportionate to the bodies. There's a few little art tweaks that I'm not feeling he's doing now that he wasn't doing before.
Also, I can't even remember. Was Kraven hired by the people to get rid of the monsters, or did Kraven just want to hunt monsters in this? Hunting. I just totally forgot why the fuck Kraven was even there. And then Elsa, wasn't she also hired to get rid of the monsters? But then she's like, so is her motive to have Deadpool fail so bad that go away, or is she now going against her employer?
No, I think she was supposed to fix the situation, and then Deadpool ended up stepping in and messing things up, and now that Deadpool's unkillable, she really didn't know what else to do. She got tired of dealing with him, but I think her showing up here now is actually out of kindness because she wants to help Deadpool. That's how I saw it.
I expect better from Kelly Thompson. I expect better from Chris Bachalo. Let's just hope whenever we get the next book, things will be better. Because as of right, we should mention in the news. Right now, all pencils down at Marvel.
Yeah, but Diamond is opening up, I think, at the end of May. They're going to start resuming business, so we may have 2 months with no new books.
Which which yeah, we should tell everybody what we are doing.
Have
You
we
want to
figured
do
that out
that?
yet?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Was I there for that
So
conversation?
next episode, we will be actually we will be reviewing episodes 27 and 30 of Marvel Disc Wars: The
Oh,
Avengers, which star Deadpool.
okay, we did talk about that.
And those episodes are available on Disney Plus. If you don't have Disney Plus, or Disney Plus isn't available, or those shows, or Disney Plus is not available in your country's YouTube or whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what we will be reviewing. I just came up with the idea. I was like, hey, we have no books. Let's try to keep this Deadpool related. Let's watch the Deadpool anime
I was gonna say
episodes.
something funny like try to find a retro Deadpool book, but I think we covered all of them anyway.
I think the only thing we haven't done was not Weapon X, X Force issues. That's about it.
Um, yeah, you're right because he's running around with Siren in some parts. Yeah, you're right. We haven't covered some X-Force issues. Huh.
Well, the good news is, remember when you're like, nah, we don't have to cover Civil War. I think we're going to cover Civil War now.
Are we coming up to it? How many issues are
Because
we away from it?
I think, well, first off, Postal Vision. I think right now in Passive Vision, I think we're in January 2005.
2 years.
So yeah, we're we're only a few months away
Okay.
from we're about like 5 months away from Civil War. So yeah, we might be getting close and we'll cover it. Plus, also episode 107, we will be doing Weekend at Bernie's 2, and The Princess Bride, which you told me is now on Disney
Yes.
Plus. Now, Princess Bride, a Disney movie or a Fox movie?
I believe it was Fox, but I could be wrong.
Okay, yeah. So we will be covering those three movies for my the it will episode 107 will be officially 100 episodes that I
Oh,
have
congrats on
podcast.
your anniversary, Saturday the
Yeah,
24th, I think, or 25th.
so something like that. Yeah, yeah, my year anniversary of the show. Oh, joy. All right. You want to take us into?
Sure. Let's jump into Cable and Deadpool number 24. Uh, I was actually still trying to figure out if Princess Bride was a Fox movie, but I think it was. Anyway, Sticky Situations, written by Fabian Nicieza, penciled by Patrick Zurcher, who says goodbye at the end of this issue. This is his last issue. Udon's Meth as inkers, Gotham as the colorist, Corey Petit on letters, Nicole Wiley editor, and Macchio as consulting editors, Joe Q as editor-in-chief, Dan Buckley as publisher. All right. So we open with Irene and Ken Ellis, who's somebody else that works for the Daily Bugle, filling us in on the history of what's going on in this book and basically how Cable has been hiring Deadpool unbeknownst to Deadpool to do little different jobs. So issue starts with a cool fight as Deadpool's kicking some army soldiers' butts and he's going back to that G.I. Joe talk, which I thought was a nice callback to his I think his first miniseries, right? You remember that?
No,
Okay,
I
well, he had
don't.
this conversation before about the G.I. Joes, the Kung Fu Grip, and how they were much better than the shrunk down versions. Anyway, he kicks these soldiers' butt because he's here to find information on this, what's it called? Cone of Silence, I think? Something like that.
Correct.
Um, so yeah, so Deadpool's out there on that mission while Irene is kind of telling, Cable's filling in Irene on some stuff that's going on and how he needs her to go meet Deadpool to try to get to the bottom of uh, this project that's going on by the government and um, he needs her to help Deadpool get Deadpool in contact with this other reporter who's reporting on some misappropriated funds that the government is using for this project. So she meets up with Deadpool. Um, she doesn't want to go firsting, but she meets up with Deadpool, and when she arrives at his place, he's wearing a suit and his mask, saying, we could have had this conversation over the phone, which was kind of her point as well. Anyway, so we meet this reporter, and Jay Jonah ends up letting him take Peter Parker for the pictures that he's going to ambush this general with. So while they're on their way to go meet up with this general, Deadpool kind of jumps on their car and throws Peter Parker out of the car over the bridge and holds this dude at gunpoint, trying to, get the information out of him. Of course, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so he's able to save himself and web up the bridge, and him and Deadpool have this big kind of long, drawn-out fight, while Irene is kind of concerned that Deadpool is kind of a loose cannon, and Cable's like, give him a chance, have faith in him, Deadpool do the right thing. And at one point when Deadpool realizes he can't beat Spider-Man, he goes to take a hostage, at which point Cable steps in and sends a a page to the reporter saying Deadpool can help him, at which point Deadpool decides to stop fighting, and he kind of goes with the reporter to help out, and then they break the story that the general's funneling government funds to his secret project or whatever. And then we come back to Cable and Irene, who we find out that the project is some kind of force field that they were planning on using on Cable and Providence, concealing it in a force field, locking them in so they're not able to leave. Of course, the project was a good 5 years or so from being finished, but of course, Cable's from the future, so the government is concerned at what use he can make out of it. So Nick Fury calls in Captain America to kick Cable's ass, basically.
I love this. This was so good.
Yeah, this was solid. I had to laugh though when Deadpool threw Peter Parker out of the car, and he's like, "Oh, we'll pretend that he's an Olympic level diver and that he'll be fine or whatever."
And then Spider-Man shows up. It's like, I saved him. Ah, yes, we knew you were there the whole time, Spider-Man. No, you missed the best running gag. Can I just read it? I hired Deadpool to scuttle the Cone of Silence. Since they moved it out of Fort Dix, we can track it down. Irene, too busy scoring for new Paris Hilton videos, I'm sure. Cable, no, but we did find some photos you took during that sorority pledge at Columbia. Irene, I hate you. Black Box, you were very free-spirited. Look at that, there is a new Paris Hilton video. Nathan, Grid A, 33, down to dump 4. Then, like a few pages later, they're at the Daily Bugle, and people are just saying, where is it? Hey, check out this email, new Paris video. Now, see, kids, back in 2004, 2005, Paris Hilton was everywhere, and she was known for her very shitty sex tape.
One thing to note, too, is that through this whole issue, Deadpool's using non-lethal means when he's fighting people. The soldiers at the beginning, he's using, like, tonfas or just sticks.
Now, also... Now, see, kids, before the iPhone, there was this thing called a BlackBerry. It had its own keyboard, and it actually had its own app store, and it was pretty much like if you had a BlackBerry, oh, you were important. You either had a BlackBerry or a Razor phone.
Ooh.
I had neither.
I think I had a Razor briefly. I think.
Everybody had a Razor. Remember, first Razors came in like silver, then there was the pink, and then like I think there was like orange and black, and then it got crazy. Red.
I don't remember. It's either me or my dad.
Razor.
I can't remember who had it, but we had one in the house.
I will say this. If memory serves me right, I love issue 25 coming up.
I'm trying to remember. Is that when we see a future story of Cable? Is that one?
No, I thought maybe it's both. Like, I think it's where Cable says why he loves Captain America so much.
On air.
I think it's like
save it for afterwards. All right.
Well, we obviously know it's Captain America in it. Yeah. So you want to get into the ads?
Sure, let's do it.
Well, no. Before that, Patrick
Yep.
Zurchin leaving. How did you feel at the
I
time?
don't remember.
How do you feel
A
now?
little sad because I've really come to appreciate his stuff.
Like, yeah, he was really good. I mean, we're going to get Riley Brown, who's
Yeah,
great.
but I think which Medina do we get next issue? Land Medina. So
Land,
yeah.
Land Medina. Oh, and I also noticed Deadpool's apartment. So we always just see his shitty couch room. We never see the rest of his apartment, and I just realized the rest of his apartment is identical to Agent X.
How did you put that together?
I just looked at it. I'm like, oh my god, that looks just like the
And did you
apartment
go
from
back and
Agent
look
X.
in Agent X? Okay.
No,
I don't know.
no, the train's all the way over on the
Yeah,
other side of the room. I
God
don't feel
forbid
like
you
going
get up.
there.
I can't call that one. I don't know.
I'm comfy in my
But did he
bed.
really clean up? I was wondering if it was like a hologram or something because when we usually see his apartment, it is a mess.
Yes, I think it's just
Maybe.
that one room because we later see what's her face in that room. It's in that room later because she's watching the whole thing
Yeah,
happen on the
and then
bridge on the
Leon the
TV.
Professional posters in the background. Maybe he did actually clean. Damn.
Yeah, because even that
Yeah.
room looks clean. All right. Okay, time for ads. We have a Got Milk
Which
ad
one?
with Donovan McNabb.
Is that the skier or the skater? No, I don't know who that is. Who's that?
No, Donovan McNabb was the
Oh,
quarterback
okay.
of the
There we go.
Eagles. We have one for Ratchet Deadlock, a Ratchet and Clank game. It was like a shooter. We have Volume 1, Book 1, Volume 1 of Avatar The Last Airbender coming out on DVD January 31st for the first time. Includes chapters 1 through 4. And, Corwin, you get an exclusive card from the Avatar trading card game.
Okay.
And then below that is Astonishing X-Men 13 coming out February
Ah, that is
2006.
Joss Whedon coming back.
Yep. We have 2 Above the Influence ads. I don't even remember this movie. Okay, you ready? When a Stranger Calls.
The name is familiar, but I can't place who's in it or anything like that.
Comes out February 3rd. Have you checked thechildren.com? Let's go there. See if that site's still active. When have you Nope, no longer active. What a surprise, because I don't even remember this movie. Apparently, it stars Camilla Bell, Brian Garrity, Kate Cassidy, and Clark Gregg.
Clark Gregg? Greg
Agent
Clark.
Coulson. No, Clark Gregg.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
you're
Agent
saying
Coulson.
it backwards, but that's okay.
No, it says Anne Clark Gregg.
Okay, I don't know. Thought it was Greg Clark. Okay.
Directed by I don't even remember this movie. All the ad is it's just a phone holding is a hand holding a phone, a razor phone, and there's a picture of a girl screaming. I guess whatever this movie was. We have Storm number 1 coming out in 2006 by Eric Jerome Dickey, David Yardin, and Mike Mayhew. Do you remember
that's
that?
the story of how T'Challa and Oro met each other.
Storm
and Black Panther, how they met when they were kids. It's actually
it's
actually hinted at back in Marvel Comics Team Up, I think 100, a backup story written by Claremont that they definitely had some history growing up.
Was it Team Up or was it? I thought it was X-Men Unlimited.
Oh no. This is way back. This is in the 80s, 80s.
Okay, I thought it was an X-Men Unlimited comic.
They may have
My
had
bad.
some kind of story with it, but I know the original story where they hint at this and talk about their past was way back then. I can hunt it down. I think it's. Anyway, keep going.
We have Honda Elements. It was like a 4x4 type Honda car. We have a Nike 6.0 ad, an ad for The Adventures of Lois and Clark, the second season on DVD. The Adventures of Superman. That was the, whatchamacallit, George Reeves series. Then you get the original, Lois and Clark season 1 and George Reeves like season 1. And on the back ad, we have the complete series for The Flash. And I thought this was cool. I was just going to read it off as you're busy looking up or you're looking up. Here is some of the books that were being published at the time. We have Storm, issue 1, Giant Size, Miss Marvel, number 1, Marvel Romance, Redux, issue 1, Punisher, Bloody Valentine, Underworld, issue 1 of 5, Fury, Peacemaker, I Heart Marvel, X-Men Apocalypse Dracula, issue 1.
That was good.
Astonishing X-Men 13, Ultimate Fantastic Four 27, Daredevil 82, X-Men 182, Marvel Knights Spider-Man 23, Incredible Hulk 92. Here you go, Corwin, just to tell you what's going on with Hulk at the time. Hulk faces a new world, one that he's determined to make into Planet Hulk. Amazing Spider-Man 529, Runaways 13, New Excalibur 4, Captain America 15, Uncanny X-Men 469, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man 5, Ultimate Spider-Man 90, Wolverine 39, Thing, issue 4, Cable and Deadpool 25, New Avengers 16, Son of M, issue 3 of 6, X-Men Deadly Genesis 4 of 6, New X-Men 23, and New Thunderbolts 18.
So, Marvel Team Up 100 is a Spider-Man and Fantastic Four main story. It's from December 1980. It's also the first appearance of Karma, if I'm not mistaken, as in the New Mutants Karma.
Okay.
Cool.
Out of all those books I just listed, anything you want to say about them?
No, I remember the X-Men at the time. Of course, post House of M, so you're in the Decimation era. Son of M was Quicksilver and him mess with the Terrigen Mists. Planet Hulk started.
Oh, Son of M was
It
so
was.
good. I love that. I love that
It was
mini.
very good.
Oh, okay. So you being the Avengers guy, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Which, Corwin, talking about the Avengers, what can they
They
listen
can
to?
listen to me talk Avengers on our EMP podcast, EarthsMightestPodcast.com, and you can see all the links there for that and other shows.
Okay, so Peter's asking for an advance, but at this time he's on the Avengers, so he's still working at the Daily Bugle, working for the Avengers, and is also a high school science teacher.
I don't think. Well, actually, is he in the Stark Tower now? I don't remember, but yeah, that may be a editor's error.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, yeah, I thought he was living in Stark's Tower at this point. And I definitely know he was still a science teacher because during Civil War.
He reveals his identity. Spoiler.
Yeah, and then I forget, one of the villains, don't they like come to the school and hold his students hostage
like
or
that,
something? Yeah, so. Anyway. Yeah, no, good stuff. You want to get into get in the review?
Let's do it. So, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Listener discretion advised. Neon Genesis Evangelion depicts psychological themes, religion, sex, suicide, and other adult themes. If you are sensitive to any of these topics, please stop listening now. We will review each episode as is, following what happens in each episode. And I am up first with episode 5. So the episode opens 22 days ago where they're doing an activation test of prototype Unit 0. They have some issues activating with some neuropulse reversals, and they basically have to cut power to the unit, and it seemingly starts going crazy. It's actually punching the wall where Gendo is, so it looks like it's actually trying to attack Gendo. They do eject Ray out of it, and they use what's called a Bakelite substance. It's basically this liquid that pours over the unit and then suddenly hardens, restricting it from moving. Before they do that, though, they do cut the power to it.
Oh,
Go ahead.
oh. So I took notes. This is what I wrote
Wait
in
for
my
your episode.
notes
Wait for
for
your
the
episode.
liquid. No. I took
Oh,
notes
okay.
for
Go ahead.
both. So this is notes. This is notes for
Hmm.
your episode. I wrote Period Blood defeats Ava's.
So yes, they cut the power and they eject Ray, and they're able to restrain it until the power cuts out. Gendo rushes into the room and he uh he forces Ray's pod open, which completely burns his hand. It's like super hot, but it doesn't stop him from trying to open her pod and get her out. And because of that, he burns his hand severely and he drops his glasses and they break. So now we get a little bit of background info on Ray. She's 14 years old. She was chosen by the Marduk Institute as the first child, as they put it. Her history has been completely erased, so nobody knows anything about her. Risuko's talking. She's a scientist, and she's saying that she's not really sure what went wrong with the test, but she hypothesizes that Ray may be mentally unstable. Um, and then she says, unless it's something else, but that's impossible, and they don't quite tell us what that other thing is. So then we cut to Shinji as he's in the room where they're examining the remaining angel from last episode. The angel's pretty much almost completely intact except for the damaged core. From the research, we do hear that the angel DNA is 99.89% similar to human beings' DNA. And while all this is going on, Shinji just kind of observing as Risuko is explaining things, and we see Gendo talking to Rei, and actually, I'm jumping ahead. Um, Before that, we see Shinji in PE
Father's
class
father's
with
hands,
Toji
they're
and
burned.
Kensuke as they're talking about how Rei, showed up to the school, and she doesn't talk to anybody. She's always by herself, and she just seems like she's alone or likes keeping to herself. So anyway, now we're dealing with where they're repairing Unit Zero, and while inside Unit One, Shinji's able to see Rei and Gendo interacting and talking, and his dad is even smiling. And Shinji, I don't know if we're supposed to think he's confused, jealous, but he's not sure what to feel about this thing. It's all kind of a surprise to him. So later on, Ritsuko's over at Shinji and Masato's place, and they're all eating. And she asks Shinji to give Rei her new card because she forgot to give it to Rei.
No, you skipped. No, you skipped the part when they're at the whatchamacallit, at school.
Oh, I said that when they were at PE and they were kind of talking about Rei.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
when
didn't
they were
hear you. My
PE, they were
bad.
talking about Rei and how she's always by herself. Anyway, Risuko asks Shinji to go give Rei her new card. So the next day, Shinji goes to her house, to Rei's apartment, and it's a complete dump. There's mail all over the place. Her door is actually unlocked, and he enters, and her clothes are laid out on the bed, and there's bloody bandages overflowing in the garbage can, and her place is just wrecked. But on her nightstand, he finds his dad's glasses, and he tries them on. Of course, they are broken, but as he turns around, Ray stepping out of the shower in a towel, and immediately she charges over to him and snatches the glasses off his face. He ends up tripping and falling. His bag hooks on her nightstand and pulls her drawer out, so her underwear goes flying everywhere. And suddenly, Shinji finds himself hovering over Ray, one hand on her chest and her underwear all over his head and all over the place. So she's like, excuse me. So, he's freaking out, of course. But he gets up and she pretty much is non-responsive to the whole thing. She says, "Excuse me." She gets up. She starts getting dressed. Shinji's all kind of shocked and surprised. But she gets stressed like nothing happens, and she literally just leaves Shinji in her apartment. So he chases after her, and the both of them end up going to Nerve. And Shinji's trying to make conversation with her, but he really doesn't get any answers from her. Um, Eventually get to Nerve, and she realizes her card doesn't work, and Shinji's like, "Oh yeah, I have your card for you. Here you go." So they get into Nerve, and then Shinji's still trying to make conversation. And he's asking, how do you feel?
While they're on the world's slowest
I was gonna get
escalator.
to that too. We'll get to that. So during the escalator ride, he's asking her, are you not afraid piloting the Avas or anything? And she's like, no. Do you not have any faith in your father? And Shinji's like, no, he doesn't like him. And she slaps the shit out of Shinji. So obviously, right there, you can tell she feels a specific way towards Gendo that Shinji doesn't. So anyway, they get into Nerve, they get into their suits, and they run another test on Unit Zero, and we see that Rei actually has Gendo's glasses with her in the pod. Um, the test is successful. She's able to activate the unit, and they're going to start doing some other kind of tests. While this is going on, the fifth angel, Ramiel, approaches the city. So they decide they're going to launch out Unit 1 to go deal with this angel since Rei's unit is not quite ready for combat yet. And they launch Unit 1 from underground, but as soon as it reaches the surface, the angel blasts Unit 1, seemingly starting to boil the water, the LCL fluid that Shinji's floating in as well. And that's how the episode ends. So yes, I was going to say that escalator ride was ridiculously long, and
Did you look at the other escalator?
going like
I
twice as
have in my
fast.
notes. Where is it? Why is the other escalator so fast? Why is this one so
And you know what? I'm really curious if there is some kind of scientific research behind this and how long they can stay on a scene, because you're going to see this a lot through the series. There's going to be times where they will sit there literally maybe 15 to maybe 30 seconds with nothing happening. Later on, you're going to, specific scene, you're going to see it's maybe almost 45 seconds, I kid you not, of a single frame. And I'm curious if there is like some psychological explanation of how long they can leave a scene on and what what it does to the viewer, because it's just ridiculous how they pull that off during this series.
All right. So I have a
Go
legit
ahead.
question. This isn't me like making a joke. Is this Tokyo, or do they just rename all the cities Tokyo?
I believe this is
Because this is
3. Yeah,
Tokyo 3. So
yeah.
so did they
No, I
just
think it's Tokyo. I think it's actually Tokyo because you will see later on that they'll talk about the other nations and stuff like that. So this is Tokyo.
okay? So let's see. Here's all my notes. I have Haywire Tech. Just unplug it. Future Tech. Let's see. I asked a question about Tokyo. I mentioned about the period blood. Oh, okay, yeah, this is actually a legit question. So are Ava's angels, because I thought they were talking about Unit 1 and they were calling it an angel, but I thought the angels were the enemies.
Uh, Angels are the enemies.
But they were also saying that Unit 0 is an angel.
The Evang.
So they're
Mhm. Go ahead.
so all all Avas are angels as well.
Yes, that's what it seems like. Yes, that they are either
Okay.
angels or
You don't have to say more if it's like there's more to it down the line. I was just getting confused. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, so the angels are the Avas, so what are the bad guys called? I thought I was getting
yeah,
confused.
because
That's all.
they're not completely robots. All right.
Yeah, I
So
know
yes,
that.
they're
Okay, I have Shinji wearing a helmet because he's special.
Shinji wearing a helmet because he's special.
When he was looking at his father's hand in the beginning, when he was in Nerve, he was wearing like a hard
Oh, well,
hat.
he's in a construction zone. Yeah, they're in a construction zone.
No, I'm making a
Special.
joke that he's
Got you.
special. Because let's face it, Shinji is special. uh Future High Tech still using DOS. Bathing suit camel toe close ups.
Bathing. Oh,
Oh, one point Shinji is talking and there's just spit in his mouth. Like you see the saliva. Episode title: Bazoongas.
they actually
Because
say
that's all
breasts in the
they
original.
just keep on going. Oh, well, in this they just keep
Yeah,
saying
they actually say breasts.
bazoongas.
They do. I don't know why they have to edit it for this, but I know.
I have shut that fucking cicada up. Yo, talking about the escalator, they just put that cicada on fucking repeat constantly. No, this is honest God true fact. Did you ever see the original Night of the Living Dead?
Oh God, yes, but I don't know if I'm gonna remember anything specific about it.
Well, no, you don't have to remember it, but it's like the black and
Yes,
white one because there's two
yes, I
different
remember black and
versions.
white.
Okay, so once it becomes night, because this is going so far for listeners. This is so far back, like doing sound effects and stuff was still kind of new. Uh, there's a cricket sound just used constantly. Like they didn't know how to only use the cricket sound for outside, so throughout the whole entire movie, you just hear a cricket chirping. Even when they're inside the house, the cricket is still chirping.
That's how you know it's nighttime.
Well, I'm just saying because looking back at it now, you're just like, oh my god, shut the fucking cricket up. And that's what the cicada is like. Just the whole scene. They're like, oh, check out her mangas. And then you just hear.
That's the only thing I could annoy about this sometimes is just their editing of things just to for no reason. I mean, uh, and then
Okay.
and then the title cards. I hate the fact that the title cards are still missing. But what was the name of this episode? Was it Ray? Is the title cards they show between episodes the same thing, or when they cut the commercial break, the same thing as the one at the beginning?
I think during the commercial breaks it just says Neon Genesis
Oh no, actually
Evangelion.
here, episode. I can pull it up because
All right. Well, while you're looking up, I'm going to continue. I also have my notes. Father is so fucking Ray, Shinji Sakak.
okay, here we go. So title one of
Pen.
episode 5 is Beyond Ray's Heart, and then title 2 is Ray 1.
Okay. Then I had Pen Pen back.
You like Pen Pen, don't you?
Pen Pen. Pen Pen a drunk because when they Pen Pen his food, he has a big can of
That's
beer.
Masato. Look, you saw what happened when he tries to eat Masato's food, right?
Yeah. Shinji is living with Masato, who is a hottie and passes out naked probably, yet he jerks off to an ID card of Ray.
Anyway,
Bra Butt episode title.
what is it?
Also in
What
this,
is the
there
episode
is
title?
Bra
Bra
Butt.
Butt.
Because when all the underwear flies, the bra is just on Shinji's butt. I don't know. This is what I wrote. You also see a nip slip
You
of
do.
Ray, real quick, and I'm just going to say it again because this needs to be uttered. Why is the other escalator so fast? Why is this one so slow? Oh, thank you, Ray, for slapping Shinji. The music and sound effects are so dated. It's funny. Oh my god! Like when what did you call this angel? I just called it the Phantom
So
Zone.
the angel is Ramiel. He's shaped like an octahedron, and actually, he is a direct tribute to Mech Super X from Future Police Urashimin, whatever that is. Ramiel is actually the fallen watcher and archangel in the Book of Enoch, and it means thunder of God.
Anyway, so when the Phantom Zone shows up, the sound effects, oh my god, it's just like it's like from an N1 film. It's like they could only use generic sounds in the public domain, and then the music is like shitty 70s jazz, like Cowboy Bebop, awesome jazz music. Persona 5, awesome jazz music. Neon Genesis Evangelion, shitty jazz music. And then my last note is, why does Shinji suck as a pilot?
You know what? I do realize that the scene where
Look, I'm not making fun of you for liking the show. I'm just giving you my honest thoughts as I'm watching
oh no, I
this.
agree. I hear you.
This is why people listen to the show just to hear me go, what the fuck is all this shit?
I'll
Anyway,
save it
what
for
were you
after
saying?
your episode, but yeah, I like this episode. This was fun.
Okay. Uh, so I'm going to read my actual recaps first, and then I'll add all my wonderful
All right.
notes later. So episode 6, Phantom Zone drops its big penis from the sky and drills it into the ground hard. Uh, then then a big gun comes out of a train tunnel. More penis metaphors. The Phantom Zone penis takes 10 hours to go soft and penetrates 22 floors. So they're basically trying to figure out, hey, we basically have 10 hours to figure out how we're going to defeat this thing, or it's just going to totally wreck Nerve. Meanwhile, they bring Shinji in because, as Corwin pointed out, the previous episode, Shinji, the Phantom Zone just shot right through its chest. So Shinji is mentally fine, but how? Anyway, so Masuda says that we have to hit the Phantom Zone from the outside range with a sneak attack. So she takes the military's prototype weapon, and then to power it, they had to basically use all the energy from Japan to use it. I like how at one point Ray shows up in Unit 0 and just lifts the roof of the facility to take the giant gun. Shinji wakes up, Ray debriefs him. Shinji bitches and moans, doesn't want the pilot. Ray said that she will, as they can reprogram it. Once again, the kids are hanging out to watch the launch because they didn't learn their lesson from the 2 episodes ago. Shinji, so when they're given the mission status, so Shinji is basically going to snipe the Phantom Zone while Ray's going to be on defense because once they shoot it, it takes like a few minutes to reload / get more energy. So all Shinji has to do is hit the core. So we already know he's not going to do it because he's Shinji. Ray has a pilot because it's her lane. So the reason why Ray has to be in Unit 0 is because only Unit 1 can use the gun. So, and since Ray is only linked to Unit 0, and then she says to Shinji that she's doing this because she has nothing else to live for or to do. As Shinji shoots, so does the Phantom Zone and causes the beams to bend when they get near each other. So the Phantom shoots again, and Ray's to the rescue with the giant shield, which is starting to melt. Shinji shoots and stops the Phantom Zone. The Phantom Zone's penis goes limp. Shinji rescues Ray, and they get all sappy. Ray doesn't know how to act. Shinji says, "Smile." Suddenly, Ray has emotions.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my notes. Dude with glasses sounds like Nerd
Oh
Corwin
Lord.
voice. Didn't he? That guy was just so over the top for his voice. Masato, sir, we can't use all the energy in Japan because there will be no energy left.
You're not wrong.
Let's see. Unit 1 breastplate. So many dirty jokes. Why is putting this weapon together like putting a Gundam set together? Did you notice that? The gun wasn't even in the box. It was just pieces of the gun, and it's all laid out across the military floor, putting it together with a hot glue gun. It's like they went to Michael's and they're like, "Yeah, we need all the glue you have here." Dinner is just a carton of milk. Ray's like, "I brought you dinner. It's just a carton of milk. Shinji's what, 14? How does he have those abs?
He's a jock.
Oh, then all those kids, when the Evangelions come out, one of the kids just goes, "It's a effing Gellions." I like, that's how he said FN Gelly in.
Okay.
Great voice acting. Thanks, Netflix. I just have H hour. I don't know why I wrote down H hour.
You mean when they're talking about how long it takes for them to drill down through the 22 layers to get to the geofront?
Maybe I was saying maybe we'll call the podcast H hour. I just wrote H hour. Okay, how did the Phantom Zone not notice all the trucks lined up and linked together?
Because they're like ants to it.
So to get... So, for them to drain all the energy from Japan, which we see the cool shot from outer space as all the lights just go off over the country, they have all the trucks lined up going up this hill that are linked to the energy sources. And I'm just like, how the fuck did this thing not notice? Like, there's a trail of cars all going to one location. I think something is up.
Okay.
And do they just fix the Evas in like seconds?
Well, remember, it didn't pierce through the chest plate. They only had to replace the chest plate for Unit 1.
I know, but I just feel like between like the first episode and the second episode, Unit 1 was like put together in 5 seconds. Yet they need to go to fucking Ally Hobbies to get glue to put a gun to.
Did you notice what the chest of Unit 1 looked like when it got blasted?
I just remember a hole. That was about it. Why? What was I supposed to be looking for?
It didn't go through the chest.
Well, it looked like a dent kind of hole thing.
Or orb?
I didn't know.
You said a hole, but I don't think it was a hole. It might have been an orb, but anyway. Okay. The mission that Operation Yashima was Masato's idea of how to kill this angel, and it actually came from the Battle of Yashima in 1185 Japan, where their main plan included a meticulous archery to win the battle, or to have some big part of the battle had to do with archery. So I thought that was cool that's how they got the name of this mission.
But you have to admit that drill was a penis, right?
For people like you, then yes, I guess it would be viewed upon as a penis or some phallic symbol. So the title card for episode 6 is Showdown in Tokyo 3 for the first one, and the second one was Raid 2.
Oh god.
So we are 6 episodes in.
Yeah. Oh. And Ray has had 5 lines.
We are 6 episodes in. How are you feeling? Well, what, a quarter of the way into the series? How are you feeling so far about the series as a whole? You're enjoying it?
No, not at all. I'm actually, well, here's the problem, because I'm not watching this like on a weekly basis. I'm pretty much just watching it before we record the episode. So I'm watching like 2 episodes a month. So it's kind of hard to say, yeah, I'm enjoying this when I'm, not watching it in a normal viewing habit. Okay. Maybe as it progresses, it'll be better. But right now, I'm just like, oh my god, this show's a mess.
The question is
from shitty jazz music to cicadas that won't shut the fuck up.
Is it intentional? Is the question. Dude,
yeah, I heard about that like apparently the guy who created this kind of like did shit on purpose to piss people off. Is that true?
I doubt it. I think my thing with it is, like I said, those like there's scenes where he does shit and they'll just sit there for like an unspecific amount of time, and you're sitting here wondering how the hell did they come up with the length of time to do some of these scenes. There's got to be some kind of psychological research behind it.
Like the
I swear to you, there has to be something behind it.
Like the Escalator.
Yes, there has to be some kind of attention span research to say this is how long you can sit on the scene to get this reaction out of people, because it just seems too damn random to not be specific.
So people know I am using a Star Wars moleskin to write my notes in. It's a really nice moleskin. I think I got it for like $8 on clearance. Anyway, no, I'm sure the series will get better, but you can see from my point of view, after 6 episodes, it seems like nothing has
Yeah,
happened. It has been a kid fucking whining and moaning when we're like, oh man, we're going to get a big robot fight. The robot gets bitch slapped, and that's the end of the robots.
we're doing what, 2 episodes a month? There's what, 26 episodes? Oh man,
Oh, and 3
13
fucking
months.
movies.
Jeez,
Great.
yeah, we're gonna be at this for a while. By the time we get to the end of the series, the fourth movie should be out, and we'll be all done.
Congratulations. All right. Time to go into our Merc
I didn't even
File.
know we had a Merc File this episode. Who do we have on file?
The Pink Panther.
You really went that far.
Yes. And so for new listeners, I don't know why people are still listening after our wonderful talk about Evangelions and penises and bazongas. Last episode we saw a retro ad for the 2004-2005 Pink Panther movie, and then Corwin and I couldn't like determine what came first, the cartoon character or the movies. So you ready to find out? Wait. So the Pink Panther actually came out the same exact time, Corwin, as the movie. So the Pink Panther was just the animated Pink Panther was actually used as the intro for the movie. So there you go. They came out at the same exact time. The Pink Panther's first appearance was in 1963. But here's where things get interesting. So afterwards, because the animated intro was so interesting, they made the Pink Panther show, which came out in 1969 on NBC and was part of Saturday morning cartoons. That went off pretty well. Around then there were some other, like 1976. It was revamped to a 90-minute formula. There has been Christmas specials. But here's one part that actually is interesting. So the studio that made Panther cartoons was MGM Home Entertainment, 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. You still with me? The home studio was sold to Marvel Comics in 1981 and became Marvel Productions, which is now part of Walt Disney Corporation. In 1984, a new Saturday morning series was produced entitled The Pink Panther and Sons, which was this iteration was produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions and Freelong, and this was all part of Marvel Productions. So technically, the Pink Panther is related to Marvel Comics, which is back to Deadpool.
Okay.
The Pink Panther was also supposed to be a cameo in the 1988 film Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But didn't go through. And then the Pink Panther has been in quite a few games. There was the Pink Panther, a handheld LCD game for Tiger Electronics. Did you ever have one of those? You never had like handheld Tiger Electronic stupid thing that was probably like $10.
The only handheld I ever had was a Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, maybe. It's the only handheld I'd ever had.
Let's see, Pink. Then there was Pink Panther for German graphics. Pink Goes to Hollywood for Genesis and Super NES. The Pink Panther in Peril in '96. The Pink Panther Hocus Pocus Pink in 1997. The Pink Panther Pinkadelic Pursuit for the PlayStation Game Boy Advance. The Pink Panther Epic Adventures for iOS and Android. And in 2004, there was CR Pink Panther, a series of 4 pachinko games that has been released in Japan. What do you think of all those rumors that Silent Hill might be coming back? Not as a PlayStation exclusive, but like the IP. might just in general be coming
Let's see.
back.
I've played every single one of them. There's been about 5. I don't think anything tops the second or third. Um, the first was solid, but of course that's NES, not NES. It's PlayStation 1, so it's kind of hard to compare that. But 2 was pretty revolutionary with its graphics and its fog and smoke, which I loved, and the story. That one's probably the best story. I was hoping Kojima would have went through with the Silent Hills that him and Guillermo del Toro were trying to do together. Sad that fell apart. If they can do it good, I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I don't want to get my I don't want to get my hopes too high on it.
All right. Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we
Nope,
wrap
let's
this
wrap
up?
it up.
All right. As we said, next episode, since they're currently all Marvel comics are on hold, we will be doing Marvel Disc Wars: The Avengers, episode 27 and 30. We will also be covering Cable and Deadpool, issue 25 and 26. Let me get back to the Google Doc. You can listen to our podcast friends, The Double Page Spread, Word Balloon, Why I Love Comic, Cast and Wask, and Sailor Business. You can follow me on Twitter at ZombieHighX23. You can follow Corwin on Twitter at EMPcast. You can follow the show on Twitter at MercWA Podcast. You can email us at hipsterdockin@gmail.com. You can also always find us on Facebook at Merc with a Podcast.
Nope,
Anything
sir,
else?
that'll do it.
All right. Good night, everyone. Robot Chicken Hulk here with a new PSA. If instead of washing your hands and singing happy birthday to yourself 2 times, instead, why not wash your hands and recite penis over and over to yourself again for 20 seconds? It is just as efficient. And now you know. Do, 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 do.